Okay, so the black hair story was about the significance of cornrows, which is a hairstyle traditionally worn by black people or African Americans still to this day. And back in slavery times, people used the cornrows to braid a map in the hair for them to follow to get to the north for freedom. They also sometimes braided food in the hair inside the braid so they would have a way to eat. And a certain braided hairstyle meant that the trip up north was leaving that day. So there's a lot of significance and untold history about black hair story. We also have other events. We had an event for domestic violence called The Secrets We Keep. And we were discussing domestic violence in the black neighborhood and how traditionally it has been told that what happens at home stays at home. And this was an opportunity for members of the community to come out and tell their story and inspire others to tell their story about their experiences in domestic violence. We've had the history of women in color movement to end sexual violence, which had the untold story about Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was more than just a tired worker who sat on the bus and got arrested. She actually was a big part of ending sexual violence in America, and she worked undercover to expose a lot of the things that were going on with the bus company. Seats were not the only thing that was happening. Sometimes the driver would go off the road with women of color and they would get raped. Rosa Parks was a part of that history. There's Reese Taylor and many others that actually started the movement to end sexual violence. So we had a big program about that. Another example of a program we had here recently was Stop the Violence Weekend. And we utilized the grant from Illinois Humanities to provide painting in the park. We had a day in the park called Fun Not Guns, and you were able to come and do karate, look at some of the African American art from the museum, and you actually got a chance to paint. And I don't think that I'm an artist or anything, but I actually was able to make a really good painting that I have hanging on my wall currently. So that's another one of the examples of programming we've done. We did Juneteenth this year, which was extremely difficult. We do it every year, and it's usually in a park, and it's a big event. But due to COVID, we couldn't do the big event that we usually do, where we serve food and we have tables out there with information about Black history and other programming in the community. We actually did a caravan this time. We did a march for Juneteenth, and we did it in the cars. Before we left out in the cars, we had several speakers and singers perform, and then we got in our cars and did a march around Carbondale for the celebration of Juneteenth this year. So we work with many agencies here in the community, with NAACP, with the Women's Center, with Carbondale United, in the past with Irma Hayes, and there are a few others that I can't think of right now, but we work with a lot of agencies in the community to either co-host or host different programming about the African American history and experience.